Alright guys, I'm Jay from DT Bait Developments. Today I'm going to be running you through the fish blood and orange bait that we have in the range. Starting with the boilies that come in 15, 18 and 22 mil in shelf life and frozen. Really good quality bait. I've not been using this too long. I've only recently moved on to it, but it has done me fish and I am confident it's going to see a lot more fish in the months to come. To go with that, they have matching pellets and the stick mix as well. Stick mix is something that I use a lot in my fishing. I do a lot of PVA fishing, lots of stick fishing. So this stuff is always in my bag. Moving on to the hook baits. Obviously you've got your wafters and your pop-ups. Again, I use wafters for 99% of my fishing, occasionally with a pop-up if I really have to, but I do try and get my bait on the deck where I can. So yeah, wafters every time. I boost my pots of hook baits with the bait spray. You know, you give it a really good shake. That activates it and you can spray your baits and it really does boost them well. If you don't want to boost them yourself, then they do offer the already boosted hook baits and the double strength hardened hookers. So they've got everything covered. You know, if you don't want to boost them yourself, then you can get pre-boosted baits straight out the tub. As well as that, they've got the boilie dip. Again, this is something I use quite a lot. You know, every time I want to put a PVA bag or a PVA stick out, I'll dip my rig in this because you know it's not going to melt the PVA when you're putting it on your rig, and it does give your hook bait that little bit of a boost as well. This stuff is the DNA feed stimulant. really good, very clever bit of kit. There's 3 enzymes in here that repel each other, and they repel each other different directions, so they'll kind of go up in the water columns, out on your spot, and they'll also draw down into the lake bed, the silt or gravel that you're fishing on, so it holds that smell and attraction on the bed of the lake for a lot longer. Again, needs a really good shake to mix them all together and activate them, but really good. I use this in all my stick mix fishing, boilie crumb, pellets. You know, I glug some of my frozen baits in it as well. One of my favourite things on the market, I think, right now is this DNA stimulant. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Okay, so now I've shown you the range of baits that we do in fish blood and orange flavour. I'll show you a little bit about my fishing. Again, I said we use a lot of PVA in my fishing. DT Baits do PVA as well. 2 different sizes, 35mm and 25mm. These are the refill packs. Really good PVA actually. I was very impressed when I first tried it. They do PVA bags as well, so if you're after some PVA, then jump online, you can order them with your bait. So let me show you how I use these. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I'll always use boilie crumb. Okay, boilie crumb goes in absolutely everything that I do. I very rarely fish whole boilies. I think boilie crumb is probably the best thing you can fish with. I'll bulk it out with the stick mix. You know, otherwise it can get a little bit expensive if you're only using boilie crumb all the time. So I bulk it out with the stick mix. Get a little bit in there. Probably about a 50-50 mix. Give it a mix up, and then that's when the DNA comes into play. So give that a really good shake. And when you squeeze this out, it's like a really thick, gloopy liquid. Nice drizzle of that in there, and give it a good mix up. Sometimes I add a little bit of pellet into here as well, but most of the time it is just boilie crumb and the stick mix. So now I've got the mix made up. I'll show you the consistency I like to have it. So it's not too wet. So you give it a good squeeze together and it will just about hold, but you can see it does start to just like crumble quite nicely. If I was adding pellet or other bits and bobs to it, I might make it a little bit wetter. But as it is, this consistency is just about perfect. A little handful of the mix in there. Again, it depends how big you want to make your sticks. It depends on sort of like what sort of distance you're fishing, what you're fishing over. But yeah, just get a little bit of the mix in there. Twist. I like to hold the tube between my knees because that gives you 2 free hands to then be able to tie the knot. Like that, nice and quickly, nice and tight, job done, no messing around. And then I also leave a big fuse, so I cut off like a slightly longer tag end. So when I hook my hook through the top of the stick, I then wrap that round the shank of the hook and back over the hook point, and that will just trap your bait in place, and that will just stop any sort of like tangles, stop the bait rolling around the front of the hook. Alternatively, I'll feed the rig through and then just loop it onto the quick change swivel, slide your little bit of silicone tubing over that to keep it in place, and then you're good to go. If you're fishing like that, I would tend to make the sticks a bit longer, so then you can conceal more of your rig in the stick, and then your bait's just popped up the end right there. I've had a lot of success fishing real simple tactics like this, you know, just a single bait with a small golf ball size bag of stick mix and boilie crumb is done me quite a good few fish, to be fair. So that's all the products covered in the Fish Blood and Orange range, and that's how I tend to fish for most of my fishing, and like I say, really, really effective. I've done really well, so if you want to try it, give it a go. If not, if it's not for you, if PVA is not your thing, then obviously, as you see, there's a lot more products in the range that will suit every scenario of fishing, you know, from pop-ups, hard hook baits, you know, for the crayfish, you know, if you're getting picked up by birds a lot, the hard hook baits are perfect. So there really is something for everyone. DT have got absolutely everything covered.